You said SSG finally getting one over on them on border yesterday. So PB will finally have border stripped away from them by DarkZero in the last couple of map bans, and that's going to land us here on Cafe, which definitely an interesting one, especially for PB's sake. They're basically flipping the script completely. Cafe is a map that has so many angles from the outside of the building with windows, doors, and everything in between, and that's stuff that DarkZero really, really likes. So I'm interested to see how they try and deal with some of these extended setups that PB is more than likely going to be going for, especially with Asian and Doc on the team. What we've been seeing, them try and play like on defense, probably some more aggressive looks around the map. So gonna make for a pretty fun game. But fortunately enough, we're almost through this ban phase already. Nomad and Flores will be removed from the offense, and we're down to Mira here. And our last one will be a Zami. Big shocker there, obviously, as those are going to be our two highest banned defenders off the board.
So no huge surprises when it comes to the bans. Might take a quick out-of-game pause for a second here, folks. You might have caught it in the chat, but in case you didn't, Blaz's computer crash or something like that, so we're just going to allow him to restart real quick, and then we'll reset the lobby, get ourselves back into the game. So it shouldn't be too much of a problem. We'll be starting the first round in just a moment, but either way, making this a very interesting game to see if PB can rebound. Super made a great point, as well as is going to be a very technical map for PB to play into, and one where it's really going to test kind of the restraint of a few of the more rookie players. You've got a lot of windows, a lot of pressure points that DarkZero on the attack will be able to use, and it's going to test the restraint from some of those players. If they get flushed out into the open, that can be easy kills for DarkZero, potentially some impressive ones for PB, but we'll have to wait until the second half where we'll talk a little bit more about that, as PB is going to be on the attacking side to start this one off. DarkZero with an uncommon initial site choice. They're going to go right for the third floor to get things started here on our first round.
Yeah, it's always nice to have somebody with such incredible insight around. It's kind of difficult to piece everything together when you're sitting here either watching from home or casting things. It's a lot easier to do when you've had to deal with a team like DarkZero and you know what their play style is like. You've had to deal with those clears and things along those lines. So fantastic stuff either way you slice it. But now into round one here, and DarkZero are going to extend out across this top floor. It is going to be a bar cocktail defense, which in recent history we haven't seen too much of, except for yesterday when things started rolling along in our previous Cafe game. So it looks like we're going to have that yet again here today in NA, with DarkZero allocating it to round one with that extension over into Cigar.
So here, an aggressive stance being taken up by one of the members of DarkZero directly below the red hatch, of course. And in a few seconds, he's going to be challenged from that position. We'll see what NJR could potentially lean in towards here. He's got the shotgun primed and ready to go. Hold at a minimum, and yeah, not really sure what he expected to have happen here. He'll take a lot of damage on the way back over to Cigar Closet. Still alive at least, so we'll be in the fight, but obviously much worse for wear on the HP side of things.
Yes, indeed. That's something that we saw, I believe, Sweater going for yesterday, trying to catch people off guard early on the red hatch. Doesn't exactly work out for NJR, but fortunately enough, he'll stay alive, and that'll allow him to hold onto Cigar here a little while longer. And you really want to see the most come out of NJR here, at least the smokes, and that's going to be a big problem. Fantastic read from Parabellum. They know what the setup looks like in Cigar, especially that laser gate there. That's very telling of what DZ want to go for. So they're just going to clear out a hut very quickly from underneath. That hatch obviously being soft, and that's going to be NJR blown sky high.
Cool calm and collected so far from PB in the opening round. NJR unfortunately making his intentions way too obvious, and even the follow-through back into the closet is something that we very commonly see played out there. So an easy first kill. Canadian going wild with the aim as he jumps out to try and keep himself alive there. Blaz will end up getting the opportunity to take him down instead. So it's 2-0 for PB here, although Doc taking some heat from that one as well. He goes down about 20 HP now. Still going to be alive and in the fight, though, and that's what's important here as we enter the final minute and 15 seconds.
Now, already, and obviously still round one here, but I'm already impressed with Parabellum's pacing inside of this map. They're just taking their time. Nobody's overextending. They're playing off of each other's angles. Asian is trying to get as much info out of this IQ scanner off the side of the building as humanly possible, and still able to pick up a frag inside of bathroom as well. DarkZero, really nothing going on for him as of right now. Eska's going to take down Eclipse, and mind you, PB have done all of this without actually being in the building, folks. At least on the same floor as DarkZero. Everything was either verticality or off of a window rappel. They just dissected DarkZero as we have a couple of aggressive swings come through. PB are able to pick them off.
Very nice chain of events coming in from DarkZero, rather from Parabellum here to be able to take swift control of the first round. DarkZero, as you can tell, definitely wanting to take an aggressive stance here after their first round defense, but also with the interesting sight, just curious to see how round number 2 is going to look. If they pull that back drastically and try to go for a lower floor defense that we more commonly see teams deploy towards, not going to be what we immediately get as they'll go for the second floor mining hold instead on round number 2 here to try to make up the difference.
Yeah, I think the best way to wrap that round up with a bow is to just go, hey, DarkZero gave up 3 kills without Parabellum even entering the top
on
floor.
repels.
Yeah,
yeah,
on repels and a frag grenade from underneath to clear out HUD. Fantastic from PB to start, but DZ is no slouch. I expect them to be shifting things up in this round here. It shouldn't take them too long. It looks like they are going to be bringing some utility to try and slow down Parabellum once it gets to that time. But the big thing is these early kills right now that Parabellum have been able to procure. Now DarkZero are going to slow those down.
So DarkZero with another opportunity to make up the difference here will be able to extend their grasp a little bit further, and more importantly, will have that extra reach to fall back down to the second floor, allowing a kind of secondary matrix of a setup for themselves to be able to win this one out. Obviously, we've got some interesting operator choices coming in for the attack as well. We are going to have that Gara hook showing up on Agent as he's going to try and lock things down for PB. We'll see where that hook comes into play. It's not going to be immediately used, obviously. Way too bold to throw that out a window this early on in the round.
Yes, indeed. That's usually a sign of either late execution or trying to get control of something early on. And for Parabellum, it seems to be like they want to go for that late execution style with the Gara hook. Just a fantastic surprise angle, maybe popping inside of something like Heaven or the White Hallway, but we'll just have to see. Parabellum are more focused on Christmas as of right now, and they've got everybody trained on this, making sure nobody can run out of bakery or anything of the sort. They want to try and keep DarkZero in a vacuum, keep them occupied on this top floor whilst they clear through. Now, do mind you, this is obviously a mid-floor defense here, so DarkZero, their plan, soak up as much time as possible and try and get away with their lives. Pambazoo will do exactly that as he skimpers off towards the top of White.
Doc will lead the charge for PB as they start to proceed into the actual building here, conquesting halfway down red stairs as well. Nearly gets himself a duel with one of the members of DZ further down, but that player thankfully a little bit more restrained, so the duel will be dodged by both parties for this early portion of the round. Away from that though, PB still moving right along schedule to try to clear out the extended third floor setup. With that said, we still have a large presence here, and Agent just going to try to go in all on his lonesome. Eclipse will easily cut that off due to the lack of support from the rest of PB. They are trying to work it forward. I like what Skies is attempting to do right now. Doesn't immediately take out the drone, gets a few pings coming in, and now Canadian on the back flank is going to feast. 2 kills going to him as Eclipse also picks one up there as well. And the rest of the team here for PB quickly falling to shreds. We'll see Blaz make up the difference on Canadian, stabilize the situation, however, slightly. But with Doc at literally a sliver of HP, things are looking worse for wear now as DZ brought down to 1 player. Now everything falls to Blaz as he's going to attempt to 1v4 collect this. Gets the first kill, but still 3 more players to go, and they've all retreated downstairs, but so is Blaz proceeding onward, trying to take quick control of the site, but won't be able to get it done. Panba locks it down for DZ instead.
Love the pacing from DarkZero here. Parabellum finally getting themselves in the building without DZ doing anything detrimental to themselves. That's really what we see here for round 2. And not only that, but for Troy, a lot easier to get a flank off when they're actually physically in the building. You're not having to help out windows and try and take contested gunfights when they're more than likely is a Claymore sitting out there on blacktop. So since nobody is even aware that somebody's trying to move up red stairs, Canadian getting away with a lot there. Parabellum trying to deal with the cocktail setup for DZ, but just no one aware of the potential from DarkZero in their mid-round plans. Very well done from them. Going to throw it downstairs into kitchen and see if they can continue this reign of terror.
Away from that, see any huge surprises for in the setup. A few interesting picks to be sure for DZ coming into this one, most notably the Warden for Skies, but that'll make perfect sense given the very flash-heavy style of execute we tended to get from PB, and quite a few other teams as well for this specific site, so can help out in a pinch should Skies need to get a bit more aggressive against that utility-heavy play coming in for the PB side. Aside from that, though, you just have usual utility mitigation. Obviously, we're not going to have Jaeger. We're going to have Omai as well as a Rooney to get that done. Smoke will more than likely defend the VIP side hallway, leading out from White, and then Canadian as well to give a little bit of extra intel. And Rome presence here with the Legion Goo Mines. Although Skies not going to be able to save those smart glasses for a later point in the round as he gets clipped off, I believe, from the Whiskey window here right at the start of the round.
Yeah, I mean, those glasses can stop a lot, but they don't stop bullets. That's the big problem, isn't it? Asian will take him down, and I do believe that was simply just to get Booth's window open there. Probably just free-firing deep into Whiskey. I mean, that's a common thing, right? Like, if you're going to shoot at a window, you might as well do it towards a direction that somebody could potentially be crossing, and unfortunately enough for Skies, he happens to be on the receiving end of that. Drone in, he'll discover Pambazoo, but he'll be safe for some time unless he wants to try and overextend and take this fight with Asian, but it's so early on here. Not only that, but he's also 1-my, so you really want to see him be patient, try and get some more discs out, just making things more difficult for PB if he can do just that. But they're already applying so much pressure to the white end of the building, able to take down one, but he knows that they have to try and pressure through. Again, Kool-Aid will get tagged up, he'll get stunned out, but there's going to be no push through. Pambazoo, he'll stay alive, and Canadian's gotten another kill on the other end of the map.
Good hold being put up here by DZ now. Unfortunately, PB failing to make their initial entries in multiple avenues across the map. Eska gonna try to move himself forwards. Props to DZ either way for making up the difference after they lost Skies, really doubling down on the roaming aggression, be able to make up the difference, and it's worked. Doing huge damage as well with Kool-Aid and Blaz. PB are going to be thinking twice about every move they make, and that's exactly how they're able to get DarkZero, or rather how DarkZero will be able to get them into a position where they'll make mistakes, take one foot in the wrong direction, potentially reveal them to the setup from DZ itself. Panbot ready to make another play here from the inside of VIP, over it does look like the player on the other side of that one. Kool-Aid also very much ready for the fight that wants to be thrusted upon by DZ. So DZ's going to cool off here. Blaz ready to make the pinch towards VIP. Won't have a winning path towards it just yet. Canadian, though, may have just been thrown off his angle a little bit. It is going to be the Whiskey Stairs where the goo mine implodes from, and he's got a second one. If you caught it there real quickly, sitting still on the stairs as well. So that actually scares away Blaz, and is going to force PB to come up with a new plan.
Well, Parabellum have 0 drones here. 0. Obviously aware of this, but Canadian will go down. The good news is, though, is that with that in mind, DarkZero can still play pretty aggressive unless Parabellum have something to do about it. Be able to pick up 2 quick kills, and JR will take down Blaz, but Eska fires back at the triple for him on the round as Kool-Aid will try and fix up the white wall. But just remember, they don't have any drones here, so that means Eclipse is free to rotate around. There's no way that they're going to get any insight on him unless it's audio cues. Stuns out. He's going to play the shotgun close, has the laser on it. He'll hop over bunker wall. They're going to have to try and swing through here. The sledge will come in through kitchen, but Eclipse, he's nasty with it today. The SMG-11 will get it done, and it's a 1vx for the boy.
Great recovery from DarkZero. Nice attempt coming in from Parabellum as well.
Alex has his homework out here.
Yeah.
He's like, all
right.
Getting to work. I'm sorry. Did you say fly eagle, Troy? What'd you say over there? I think that's page 72. 1 second.
A good attempt coming in from PB in the midst of that round to try to make up the difference. They were able to successfully deal with the Whiskey setup, which was tripping them up for a good 2 minutes into that round there.
Difficult to dislodge the DarkZero setup like we saw Troy guaranteeing in Whiskey. That's why that took so long. Parabellum constantly trying to throw utility at them. They wasted all of their drones in that location. There was a lot going on there, and that was all because of Pambazoo and Troy's efforts.
All right, well, we've made the full rotation for DarkZero, and we're going to return to the only unsuccessful site they played out so far up here on the 3rd floor. PB was able to take control there, like you said, due to the overzealousness of DZ. Wanting to take challenges on multiple angles where Parabellum had them controlled with repels. So see if things will be a little bit different for them this time. Otherwise, if you weren't catching the early rounds, DZ did lock in a 2nd floor mining defense, as well as, of course, the previous round, just seeing kitchen go well for them also. So those two are still going to be locked away. We'll see mining, of course, unlock the next round, and they'll have one more chance to play into kitchen as well, coming up on round number 6. Away from that, though, it's still DarkZero in the lead, and PB looking to once again find a successful assault onto this 3rd floor defense. They're going to play heavy into the intel as Lion will be bought out this time for Asian, and then away from that as well, the usual assortment of utility needed to get access to this 3rd floor.
Love this change up here for Parabellum. This will allow them to lock down DarkZero in a lot of different instances and hopefully help them with their clear here. Some of these extended players. It's not going to be as bountiful in that category for this round. Obviously, there is going to be one player downstairs inside of Raiden. I do believe that's Eclipse down there. But past that, everybody else playing more towards site, especially like Pambazoo up top inside of bathroom. So we'll have to see how PB want to try and go about this. But that utility will definitely slow down some of these flank plays and other things that can come through. Some big stuns now pouring in, or we can have a skylight drop here. EE1D, Nitro Cell, nothing happening just yet. Canadian, him and I are in the same boat here. What is happening? Nobody is moving. Nitro Cells and everything abound, and not a single step by the offense. You could hear a pin drop, but I think actually Blaz, yes indeed, has has gotten inside. I do not believe, no, it is not. It is not his hologram, so he is actually, truthfully, in on stage.
Fortunately, he's alone right now, but thankfully that's going to be corrected pretty quickly here. They have been able to clear out most of the cigar area defense. And aside from that, you're going to see those two players jump into Red Hatch as well, getting the access to the top of the red stairs and supporting Blaz's position a little bit more securely, just letting him kind of tunnel vision on the white hole and bathroom play should DarkZero try to deploy it. Thankfully, for Blaz's sake, I'm pretty sure he's good in that department as well. DZ have already backed up from that. They're playing the back line here over towards Cocktail as well as the downstairs hold also.
Yeah, you got to be feeling for DarkZero a little bit in this instance. Parabellum, kind of a false start there initially, just seeing if any of the DarkZero members would want to try and step up to the plate, and not a single person home. They'd rather let this timer dwindle and give all the pressure over to the offense, and that's now where we lie. Sky's on the long angle here for Bar, as the Bar's been completely dismantled. He's got so many angles to play off of for this shield. Sees one inside a cigar, but it's going to be multiple soon. Asian will take down Pambazoo. They know that he's coming up stacks. Hall Skies with a beautiful shot. Practically only needs 2 bullets to take the head off of Asian. NJR now will move over into stacks and try and hold things down for the white hallway.
And JR making a challenge, but Doc could end up winning it out regardless. PB takes back the player count advantage here, but quickly running out of time. Eclipse and Blaz will go 1 for 1 again, but one more will be picked up by Doc on the white hall push, leaving just Skies alive here for the defense by Cocktail, and he's got pressure on his back rappel as well. Hot Pigs coming in for the white hall intel. Thankfully, that rappel not going to have access to him, but still, it's far too much, too quickly to deal with, and Doc will be able to waltz in and knock him down, giving the round over to PB, and a 2 for 2 record on third floor attacks.
Interesting case here. Parabellum able to get a lot of the big impactful kills done, you know, into the later moments of that round. The first 2 minutes really just everyone kind of sitting there awaiting both of these teams to try and move forward and take a fight with the other. But obviously Parabellum aware around that, you know, minute 30 mark that DarkZero don't want to try and swing into them, so they have to get the ball rolling. Fortunately enough, that all started off with getting Blaz inside of Christmas, and they could slowly start working everybody in on the cigar side. Got some very solid pressure up the white hallway as well. Some big kills that Skies had to try and deal with, but the rest of DarkZero not able to get it going in the kill category, and that's really where the make or break was for round 4.
All right, well, hopefully things are going to turn around for DarkZero as they return to the sites where they've had prior success here on the second floor. A similar lineup coming into it. They definitely want to try to play into more intel this time, as Canadian will go over towards the Pulse here. Probably a little bit of last round playing into the reasoning for why they would want to do that, as things did get confusing. Stokes pointed that out in the mid-round there, so trying to control that a little bit better by having the full building intel from the Pulse. And of course, Canadian along with that. Interesting enough, too, Canadian gone for the shotgun on this pickup as well.
Don't dare question this man and his
I'm not
Pulse
questioning
ever
it.
again. Do you hear the slander right now,
I'm just
chat?
pointing it out.
Hey, when it comes to Canadian and Pulse, you don't say words, John. You don't speak when this man is on this operator. He's going to the house, baby. Give it to me,
He
Troy.
got the down. He got the down.
True. Yes, he did. Don't you dare. Yes, don't hop outside. We're staying alive, Canadian. A northern onslaught coming in. The snow is quickly turned red. Knows another one's outside.
Why
Get
are you
body,
prepping
baby! Blaz goes down. It's a triple kill from the Pulse. Oh my goodness. When I woke up this morning, this is the last thing I thought I was going to have on my docket, especially when it comes to Cafe. No!
Challenging him!
Oh, Kool-Aid, thank God. Count your lucky stars that is a solid stairwell, because Troy was bearing down on you and looking to strip your soul out of your body. Oh my goodness, DarkZero.
Props to PB for getting that piece together, but how many players did you have to sacrifice for that now? 3 down at the beginning of the round. Very easily could have turned into a 4th as well, as that was still another detached 1v1 the Canadian had there. Just finally ended up coming out unlucky on that one, but still should be a simple shutdown for DZ. That would be the assumption at this point here. The extended game not even going to bother to fall back to play it safe. Another 1 for 1. Things are still very much under the control of DZ, as Pamba has the cutoff from Whitehall to finish off a very quick round in the defense's favor.
I'm pretty sure that if Canadian takes off his headband, you can actually see his third eye on his forehead. It's actually like an implant. It's a cardiac sensor right in his head. He's able to just see everybody through walls.
Oh, it was a fun round.
Yeah, it was. That was That was definitely one we're going to be looking back on in stage 3 here. I just love the fact that he got so much done with the M1014 because, like, this is the OG pulse setup. If you played this game in year 1, you know exactly what I'm talking about. This and the Super 90 on Frost were probably the most broken guns in the entire video game. And it just goes to show you that even to this day, you know, in CQC combat, a shotgun still gets the job done.
Absolutely the case. They're especially playing around those stairwells. Worked out swimmingly for the players on DarkZero and for Canadian, of course, there. Nicely done for DZ to be able to take back their lead in commanding fashion against PB, and now leaving it all on this final round. It's going to be the mining defense. Coming up here, they'll just switch over to the other second floor hold. The first floor round was a little bit dicey for DZ, so they're not necessarily feeling that extension back down there. They'll go for the second floor hold one final time here to close out the half for themselves. We're going to see one quick repick coming out for Asian there, so I'll head over towards the Nook. Other than that, though, everybody on PB sticking with their original picks.
That's super weird. We had that whole poll, but the only person to clutch in this whole game is Eclipse, so he's not even on. He's not a choice. Is there an option C?
It's the fill in your own box option. Yeah.
But either way, DarkZero will gather the lead yet again here, looking to extend this to a 4-2 if possible. Parabellum more than likely going to be slowing things down a bit and trying to play a little bit more tight-knit before they get systematically dismantled by Canadian again. A little bit of an aggressive peek coming out from Pambazoo for the cocktail window, but he's not going to stick around too long. Knows that there's more than likely a player out here, and he is correct in his assumption, as Asian was waiting to see if he wanted to try and go for that again. Canadian doing what he does best, especially on this map and what we've seen so far. He'll be on the basement level, potentially trying to get a flank off again. We'll have to see if Parabellum can shut it down and hold on to some of these stairwells. PB, lots of stuns in, was seeing if somebody was going to swing, but not a single soul.
What is
going to be a, there's what? Please kill this man! Kool-Aid! What? How? Were we on cam? What just happened here?
I think he repelled up maybe. Maybe he went all the way up and he was
goodness.
just locked in the animation, couldn't get him down in time. But at the same time, it was a pretty quick trade after he got the second kill. So yeah, definitely one for the replay. Kool-Aid though looking to make up for things very quickly as he gets an ace headshot in against Pan, but even up the numbers down to a 3v3. Asian will get caught though over by Whiskey. Canadian going to try to lock him down. He's at low HP, and unfortunately with nowhere to run, you can see his two other teammates. They are a long distance away, but still, we'll see two attempts to knock out Asian, and it won't work. He fends off both of them successfully with minimal HP, mind you. And now the round has been flung.
No.
Oh no, this could get even crazier.
Yes.
Okay, and Jared will get spotted here. We'll have an idea of how to take him out. Now you can already see that crossfire coming in to try and catch him, as he would assumably have moved away from that corner position, but he stays close by. In the same room, just in a different corner. He's going to try to counter out these floor openings. Will be unsuccessful though, as he's got to be very careful with his aggression here. Now you can see another member of the team on drones. That'll be Kool-Aid. Try to find out his position one final time so that they can also let Asian move in and finish things off from below.
That's a scary thing here. Be paying attention to Asian's utility specifically.
Upstairs now.
Oh, a beautiful shot from NJR. Eska goes down. 30 seconds remain here. So white stairs crawl for the Habana. Remember, Asia on very low HP. Oh my.
It's got to catch
Asia now down. It's up to Kool-Aid. Oh, and he's so very smart, John. Doesn't go for the plant. He pushes straight through reading and immediately flanks out the last remaining member of DarkZero. Parabellum keep it tied here on Cafe.
Props to NJR, and of course Skies for that wild hop-out play, but NJR for the near clutch that he's bringing to bear on this round. However, also...
Oh, dude, wait. Yeah, okay, so it was him that went on camera. Blaz went on cam. I think legitimately that Kool-Aid just got to the top and had to, like
the repellent.
He had to click the button to, like, switch up side down, obviously, to try and get to him. So that was just...
perfect timing for Skies.
Yes, exactly. Incredible timing from Skies there. That was, I mean, just trying to shoot right through a black hole and make it. Let me tell you, that was pretty crazy. So... DarkZero is going to be on offense now, and they're going to have their own opinion about this op lineup. They're going to be bringing the Jackal here, which honestly I think is a great idea up against a team like PB. We saw how aggressive they like to be on border, and I don't think they're going to slow it down too much for a map like Cafe.
Definitely giving a big props over to Asian as well for the way he recovered in that round there. Got locked into a tough corner. DZ had full intel on how to take him down, but even so, wins a 2v1, like back-to-back kills. Very, very well done for him to defend that one and really set his team up for a quick closeout there. DarkZero was certainly trying their best to fight against that. DarkZero, of course, now on the attacking side, so we'll see how Parabellum fares on the defensive end of the spectrum here. Looking to close things out from a tie game, 3-3 here. DZ pretty slow to move out from the docks, but going to see them proceed forward now and go for that third floor assault.
Everybody's been getting spawn killed recently, John, so you have to make sure to get on your drones early and see if these windows are completely sealed or if someone wants to potentially decapitate you. That's usually what we've been seeing here inside of Stage 3. A lot of these teams trying for those aggressive peaks, and DarkZero obviously being one of them as well. We're actually going to switch some things up on the DZ lineup. I know originally in this round we were talking about Canadian being on the Jackal, but instead he's bringing Thatcher. More than likely just to try and break up some of the reinforcements inside of this top floor. But the thing is that Parabellum have opened up quite a few of these instead to try and play some more aggressive angles. And actually, more specifically, they have the entire rotation shut down for bathroom. So Asian is actually going to be occupying not only this shield, but also that swing into the bathroom area, kind of Bolo-esque. A lot of teams actually doing this. Some putting a shield inside a bathroom as well, but obviously not too much past that in the utility department for him to play around. DZ will begin clearing out some of the beginning parts of this top floor after they've been able to confirm that Parabellum are mostly centralized around this area.
He's just waiting for the lineup to work in his favor here. DarkZero taking a very, very cautious route, though. They don't want to take the chance early on, but obviously on the attack, they'll eventually have to do it. Right now, playing very heavily into what Super had been mentioning on our analysis desk segment, where they're going to set themselves up on usual rotation angles, hope to catch a mistake out of one of the players from PB, and then close the jaws shut from that point forward. And at the moment, they just have not been able to find that early mistake that they were hoping to get from PB. They're remaining stalwart in their positions. Asian, of course, won't have much of a choice here now that he loses his supporting wall on the inside of bathroom. He will have to fall back to Cocktail. But other than this, the defensive matrix has held strong so far from PB.
Well, ADS's, Wamai, Evil Eyes, and a Ward. And on top of that, you still have two smokes in Kool-Aid's pocket. Parabellum, they have the means to win this round. But DarkZero still have plenty in the tank to be able to take this fight. It's going to be on low time. One of the smokes coming out from Kool-Aid. Asian has made himself a nice little home, nice little nook here inside of Dark Spot. Big potential out of this one. They'll be stopping some swings in from a place like Heaven or potentially getting a kill on New Balcony. Well, we'll just have to see. As of right now, it's a sea of orange in the kill feed. And finally, Parabellum will fight back. It's still a 2 versus 3 in favor of DarkZero, but Kool-Aid will quickly right those wrongs and make it a 2 versus 2. How mobile he is, but finally Skies will shut him down on his hallmark weapon, the C8. Pambazoo will close it out, and DZ pull ahead yet again.
It's a trademark DZ round right there. I had very little hope they'd actually be able to get it done, given we were coming down to about 30, 40 seconds, and they'd made very little progress in actually going across the open divide for Bar and getting that control towards Whiskey. But it's all part of the plan at the end of the day. They're building up that drone intel, figuring out where to position each individual member so that when they're finally ready to pull the trigger, it all goes off in just a few quick seconds without a hitch. And that's, for the most part, what ended up happening there. We had some nice snapshot aim coming in from Kool-Aid on the defense, but unfortunately did not put enough effort forward to win out the round for PB.
Yeah, that's a good old-fashioned siege right there. Set up for the execution and steam your way through the opposition. As a team, though, big thing, as a team. And that's what we see out of DarkZero. Able to open up the avenues to actually get to Parabellum instead of just trying to take some early heads-up gunfights into some areas that aren't exactly great to try and do so. Things like Pixel and other stuff where it's a lot more of a coin flip than it is a decisive maneuver. DarkZero doing a great job of being able to MacGyver their way through that and deal with Parabellum's setup. And they did it so well that PB are not confident in this top floor defense any longer. They're going to go down to, I believe, the bottom floor. I believe we are in kitchen as we don't have anything inside of train. And yes, indeed, we are. So going to be on the basement floor here for PB, making quite a bit of sense. But there is a pretty interesting operator inside of the lineup for Parabellum here. Echo going to be brought along for the ride for Blaz. And those yokai drones actually have quite a bit of influence in kitchen, John. If you remember, you can actually put those things in some pretty weird spots inside of the site, like the food heaters up top, the shelves, everything. Those yokais can actually slip into and potentially be a round decider for Parabellum if it does get towards an actual plant.
It'll be all quiet on the frontier for the first 30 seconds or so. Not going to see DarkZero wanting to take a huge risk early on, and why would they, given the play style back in round number 7 here? It worked perfectly for them, so slow and steady will more than likely allow them to win the race for a second time here on round number 8. the same time, PB, that will leave windows of opportunity open for them to respond to that. To an extent, PB kind of losing that last round in part because they play into that very slow game from DZ. They're not ever taking any risks, trying to set up to counter, subvert the expectations to an extent that DarkZero had been deploying and allowing them to play out the rest of their round with a good amount of rehearsal to it. PB needs to shake things up a little bit, throw an unexpected curveball at DZ to potentially trip up their plans. They just haven't found a good position to do that yet inside of this round. So things have remained fairly static. Asian definitely looking for an opportunity to line up a headshot if it'll be given to him, but don't believe DZ are going to make that mistake here.
Yeah, Asian is looking for bloodlust out of this guy in Bakery, but nobody home from DarkZero as of now. Doc on the supporting angle on White Stairs to try and assist Kool-Aid. An aggressive push. No one aware that Pambazoo is going for this. We have so many Parabellum souls around White Stairs, and Pambazoo just walks in like he owns the damn place and guns a man down in VIP. There's zero response from Parabellum. We still have two people on this mid floor. Canadian takes down Eska. I think the site is completely opened. Canadian takes down Doc as well. Actually, no. The site, it's...
That's all that's left.
It was all that was left, wasn't it?
Yeah.
DarkZero, wow.
To be clear, it wasn't even the site, it was the Bakery player. Because Asian was the last one, so he had to fall back to defend that at the end. Look, even DZ Skies is chuckling a little bit about this in that shower right now, trying to figure out.
Did you see it, Clips? He was like, whoa.
Yeah. Even DZ's trying to figure that one out for themselves. Like, guys,
dude, they shot
was that
Parabellum.
easy or was that just me?
Guys, do we load in the lobby again? Are we T-hunting right now? What's happening here? Do these bots shoot back? No. Parabellum's been playing a pretty good game so far. It's just DarkZero's offenses.
Definitely an off-kilter round for PB right there.
Yeah, and also, I mean, just to go back to what was being said on the desk, right? What Super was talking about with DarkZero. The way that they work maps like this is just truthfully disgusting.
It's also
Parabellum's trying to do so much on this roam and like get out in front of them, and they're like, oh, that's super cool. What if we just didn't clear and we just walked in VIP and shot your VIP
It's gotta be very frustrating to play against. The other thing too, because if you try to make these moves, you try to have this set up towards it, and it's just like your opponents are throwing nothing at you on the it's literally just radio silence for like 2.5 minutes. Like you think like, okay, I gotta make this play. Like I gotta find something for myself. But that's when you make the mistake. That's when you step out into like 3 dudes holding a cross against you, and then all of them swing in, and you were holding like the most important angle. Just domino effects from that point forward.
Right. I love the fact that what we saw in that last round was Parabellum trying to play 4D chess, and then Canadian and DarkZero's being like, you guys want to walk in the building?
I'll just take VIP,
yeah,
thank
exactly. Like Parabellum's trying to think on like this upper echelon of Rainbow Six thought, right? And trying to make this amazing strategy. And DarkZero was like, hey man, what if I just walked in the building with an AK? So, I mean, and it works. That's the funniest thing. So, DarkZero up 5-3 now. We are getting things warmed up here for round 6, but we all know how Cafe goes. This first minute and a half, well, it's pretty damn boring, if I'm being honest with you. It's going to be a lot of droning as we try and get a semblance of what is going on in the building from the lens of DZ. And for PB, it's simply waiting for DarkZero to try and get in towards the actual site setup, unless we see something like what we saw in round 1, the very first round, if you can remember that far back, when DarkZero was going for some more aggressive peaks, but we see just how that works out if your windows are played correctly. DZ ended up losing 3 people in that round, so Parabellum obviously probably adhering to that warning and going, hey, we're just gonna await DZ and see what happens here. But the executions have been so very solid thus far, so DarkZero more than likely potentially building up to that, but we'll have to see. Already through the first minute and a half and nothing really discovered as of yet.
Blast continuing to patiently wait for the first steps from DZ. Not going to find them, however, this early on, as DZ drop themselves in and try to proceed forward. They will take that full control of top red. It's going to start to put some pressure on Blaz in a second, although he might not know it yet. Regardless, though, he'll start to adventure forward, and oh, whoa, this is a powder keg if I've ever seen one here. We'll just have to wait to see who lights the spark in a moment. Panba, as well, could very well walk directly underneath of these players. This is so dangerous. Blaz walks up. The first one's for free. He panics, though, doesn't know how to follow it up, makes the safe play to just fall back deeper into the actual bar area. That'll leave room for DZ to reground themselves and for Canadian to trade it back. Panba as well, picking up one more for this one. Yeah, it's DZ going to continue to move forward here and begin the process of knocking out PB one by one, already with nearly the full site under their control.
Kool-Aid gonna pop the Goyo canisters here, but DarkZero weren't exactly looking for that big execute just yet. Still had to get some walls open, and few other means, but now looking like they're ready to go. Asian has made a nice rotation upstairs though, and this is gonna be the biggest piece of the puzzle. He'll take down Pambazoo, but now they know that Doc is the only member on site. He'll drop down, the crosses are already set up. Eclipse more than likely getting this plant down. Where's the assistance for Canadian? He doesn't need it. He'll take down Doc. The F2 sings true. It's all left up to Asian in a 416C, but he's dusted by Eclipse. DarkZero will be on match point.
Indeed, DarkZero locked and loaded for this attacking half, and not looking like a whole lot can stop them. PB been making these attempts and have been given opportunities, as we saw there at the beginning of the round, but unfortunately the hesitation from PB is getting the better of them now, such as with Blaz right here. Lined up with a good opportunity, but could not find any other players in the immediate area, so limited the potential of this play, where we saw him then get immediately traded out as Canadian saved the day in multiple situations in this round for DZ, winning out, of course, the trade onto Blaz, but then a later kill as well. That could have been a make or break point further down those stairs.
I love the way that DarkZero on these offenses so far have been getting right to the heart and soul of every defensive setup. You know, inside of that mid-round there, or really, you know, just like the middle of whatever you want to call it, the last minute, whenever we're kind of jiving for position right outside of the site, we always see somebody like Pambazoo that's able to contest one of the site players and get a big pick. That opens up so much space for the offense to move their way in and start looking for plants or potentially get more kills as some of the roamers or more extended players will have to try and get their way back towards site and hold off. Or obviously you're down to maybe just one site player and then there's way too much for that person to manage. It's a lot easier to catch them off guard, especially if you have, you know, an overabundance of players already around the site for the offense. So we've been seeing DarkZero go about it in a lot of different ways from that point, but it's been really those big picks that we've been able to find on Parabellum site players that have opened the gates, allowed DZ to dominate this offensive half.
And so a DZ now, just one round away from closing it up. How will Parabellum get control over things? How are they going to be able to stem the tide in what seemed unstoppable in at least past 2 rounds at least? Parabellum looking to try and control something, try and bring themselves back from the brink, but it is not looking good here. Good news is obviously a return to the 3rd floor gives them that direct capability to contest against some of the entry power from DZ, where things have looked the strongest to an extent so far on this half for our attacking team. Still need to find that one extra round, of course. They've got 3 opportunities to do it, so going to be feeling fairly confident about themselves. Still needs to take that slow and steady approach. This is how the team wins games. There's no reason to depart from that one, given the composure that DarkZero normally operates under. It'll be Asian more than likely. That'll be tested first here as he spots out the drone heading towards him. Over here towards Cigar, panics a little bit too. He's expecting some immediate counteraction to come in from Light Repel or somewhere similar to that, but not going to see that this early on. This is a symptom of what we were talking about before, though. DarkZero so good at just cutting people off that it's starting to make PB think twice about every move they make.
They're very antsy because they don't know when the entire unit of DarkZero is going to dawn their doorstep, and it's going to now be impossible for them to get out of the situation that they're in.
Look at this, look at this.
Pambazoo, again, watch this. I swear he's going to move all the way up bar. This guy's dead. And Pambazoo got another pick on somebody in the back of sight. And now DarkZero have opened everything up. It's up to Doc now inside a cocktail. He has to get this kill. He'll do it. It's a triple kill for Doc on the round. This Alda, it looks so good in his hands. Asian will take down Canadian. DarkZero, they had the opener like they had through the previous rounds, but now it's down to Skies to try and clutch out as Parabellum finally fight back, but let's be honest, it was the Doc show as that Alda was able to rip through DarkZero, tearing them to shreds. Now, with a minute remaining, we'll see if the fill-in can potentially get the big clutch and the dub here for DZ.
Doc turning himself into a turret right there, refused to move from his position over the course of that round, and thankfully gave PB a second life in this round, but they'll more than likely be able to follow through on. Skies, of course, going to make that clutch attempt. Not able to get these flashes out the way he wants to, though, and he'll get the peek from Eska that just won't work out for Skies. Eska will line up the headshot to take him down. That'll finally be another round from PB going up on the board. Their first of this half, I do believe, as they find a 4th.
Wow, man, that round right there was in the grasps of DarkZero, but pulled out from under them by Doc, just gunning everybody down from Cocktail with that Alda. Some big kills for him. Especially that second kill coming in onto Pambazoop, moving up on the inside of Bar. If Pamba gets that double there, that is obviously a completely different round. Cocktail's been completely decimated. There's really no way that Parabellum's going to work their way back in from just like holding on to Freezer. It's going to be super difficult, especially with the limited rotations that they had built up in that location for Jaeger. So. But good news is for PB is that they'll at least be able to stave off elimination a little while longer, see if they can get this to OT, and maybe get some points under their belt before all of this is said and done.
So, as we enter potentially our final round yet again, we are going to see quite a few repicks coming out from DarkZero, including, once again, we are going to see another Amaru pickup here, coming in here as well for Canadian to bring Garhook into play. And away from that, a Nook as well as a Lion and Ace will also be swapped in as they want a little bit more hard breach this time to try and access some of the rooms, on the second floor here to give DarkZero their push forward. PB, of course, does need to go for that second floor extension, but this is where things will get a little bit more dangerous. Actually, I'll correct myself. We're going to get a first floor hold this time, not a second floor hold. But yeah, things get a little bit more dangerous regardless here for PB because they aren't going to be able to have that full matrix of defense. All 5 players able to potentially trade off of each other. You are going to have those 1 to 2 players that'll potentially be off alone on an island like we see right now up here on the 3rd floor for Eska. And that's where DarkZero has really been able to capitalize and get some of those free kills in the early round and the past rounds.
Yeah, and you always have to be scared on a map like Cafe because it's super difficult to dedicate a lot of utility to your roam game. So for the most part, you're not flying blind, but you're walking through a building that has a bunch of soft walls and potential for you to get shot through most of them. So when you look at it through that lens, then obviously you can see how that could be a little bit of a problem when you're playing against a team that's so good with their info game like DarkZero is. So it looks like Parabellum are going to try and at least mitigate as much of the isolation as they can. DarkZero trying to get some info on this mid floor here. They'll discover a mute on white stairs. Doc will take that out, but that's just another piece to this puzzle that DarkZero is building.
So as DarkZero continues to look for options, they're unfortunately not going to be able to find a whole lot early on here. Just going to be able to scout out the interior of the second floor extension now. Panda being a little bit cautious of hop-outs that may come from the EE1D charge. Not going to see that end up happening, though. PB still a little bit too shaken from the previous rounds, but definitely looking a lot more secure in their actual holds. Half the round has elapsed, so they're going to call back the second floor extension now. No longer really need to have that out and about. DZ don't have enough time to fully knock things out on the second floor anymore and then still proceed into the site. They have to focus entirely on the first floor hold now, so let's see how they look to clear it out as they're going to make the first bits of pressure over here towards Whiskey and a few other spots on the map.
Yeah, remember what we were talking about with DarkZero's info game? That's what we're talking about. They could just sneak these drones in practically anywhere. They have solid info already on these site members of PB. Now the big thing is that this timer is getting low, but just remember, DarkZero, they're no slouch when it comes to these kind of situations. Canadian's got quite a few bullets inside of this G8, but he's not going to go for the swing. He doesn't know if there's somebody inside of coat check, I would assume. It's going to be Asian that actually gets the first big kill. Canadian, okay, we got a little thrown around there. Apologies about that. Fortunately enough, both of those teammates, actual teammates, not enemies. So people are going to stay alive on that mid floor, but remember, this timer eating at the offense.
Let's see them.
Sky still positioning code check. DarkZero not with the confidence to play forward. GTA Kool-Aid with a nicely done job there. A clothesline against one of the members of the team, but now they're trading it back. Keep in mind, though, they've lost the case. Sky's with an important double to get them to the inside. Will now have to double back, get himself control over the case. Thankfully did take out the VIP players, who won't have to worry about that flank, but they still have to worry about cutoffs coming in from deeper in the site towards areas like Bakery. Plant going down for Skies. Canadian at just a sliver of HP. He won't be able to maintain and goes down. Skies, does he get off the case? Yes, but still won't be able to get into the fight. Asian knocks him down. Round 5 is won by PB, and we go to the final one of regulation to decide this matchup.
So close on these executions, but Parabellum are doing such a better job of preventing these ISO plays.
Controlling their more passive holds here, been using the timing to get sufficient trades against DZ, or just outright shutdowns, we saw 2 rounds back in the case of Doc there, to fend off these very, very tricky pushes from DZ. The final round will be played out here on the library's second floor defense. So let's wait and find out now if PB are going to be able to get the job done. Interesting initial pick from Canadian here, too. Curious to see if he's going to stick with this. He's got the IQ soft-locked right now. as well as we did have a repick for Panba, but he's gone back to his original operator choice as well, so that one's going to stay locked in.
Yeah, bringing a lot of soft destruction here as well, not only with the Zoe, but obviously the Sledge and Buck coming along. So DarkZero most definitely will be looking to clear out this top floor and try and gather control of Bar and Cocktail so they can strip open that floor and set up for a reading plant. We've seen a couple of teams, obviously, though, also going for these fireplace hall or dining area plants. So we'll have to see what DarkZero want to do, but the operator lineup, at least right now, obviously, pointing us in the direction of that reading area being what DZ want to control. We are going to have the IQ come through for Canadian. Now, this is a pretty solid choice, especially given the circumstances of what Parabellum is presenting, specifically with Blaz here and the Capcan. This is going to make it a lot easier for Canadian to assist DZ in clearing things out. Also, Canadian, or rather IQ, comes along with 2 Claymores, and there's been a lot of window hops inside of this game, so probably a good thing to be bringing a couple sets of those. Pambazoo will be backing it up with another 2.
Located a bomb.
Away from that, still see a very slow lead up for DZ.
Bomb located by
Only
attackers.
prioritizing the drone game right now. You can see like 4 different members of the squad on their drones in the rooftop here, so very, very patient early round from DZ as they try to make sure they know exactly what's going on with this 3rd floor hole before they try to drop themselves down into the belly of the beast here and try to directly challenge it. Ready to do so, though, as flashes get dumped pretty quickly from Skylight. No hop-ins, though, as everybody's still going to be positioned on the roof for the most part. I think 1 player may have gone in, and even that I'm not sure of at this point here. There we go. Yeah, 1 player went in through Red Hatch, but that's going to be it for DZ in terms of early map control. As I believe that player is also going to realize that Blaz is sitting directly under them, so is going to try to position to contest against that. Might have a mystery, though, about just how low Blaz actually is. Blaz looks like playing a very patient game right now, starting to creep a little bit closer to Panba's crosshair. He'll get the opportunity. Patience pays off huge for DZ here as Panba finally knocks out that frag versus Blaz.
Oh man, Pambazoo had to have dropped in when that Selma was going off for Eclipse. Oh, guys! Oh my god, Kool-Aid! He's been clotheslined by the C8. Eclipse, he's gonna take a lot of heat. Doc gonna try and retake upstairs, but now they know somebody's tagged up Doc. Do believe that Asian is along with him. They're pre-firing into the bathroom. Doc's dead. Parabellum, it's slipping away from them. It's gonna be a flawless round from DarkZero. Oh my, what a game from them, having to deal with the feisty Canadians. Parabellum put on a show for us. They're able to push it to the max inside of regulation, but DarkZero shut it down quite quickly. Fantastic.